Hello, race fans. How are you? Rob Howden here. Welcome to a new edition of the Road to Indy Insider. It is Monday, February the 22nd. The season, of course, getting started here in just about a month's time, 2 months' time, rather, right? April. We got to wait till the middle of April at Barber Motorsports Park before we get going. It was supposed to be the first week of March at St. Petersburg. Everything, of course, getting jumbled around. We pushed everything off to April. So we're going to back-to-back weekends at Barber and St. Petersburg. That'll be a fun way to start the season, a flowing natural terrain road course at Barber, then onto the tight confines of the concrete canyon at St. Petersburg. And we're, to be honest, really looking forward to 2021 as I kind of work my way through all the expectations of what kind of grids we're going to have. Essentially 10 to 50% growth across the board, likely 24 to 26 drivers conservatively in USF 2000. Conservative number about 16 to potentially 17, 18, 19 maybe in Indy Pro 2000. A lot of things coming together. Obviously, James Rowe getting announced today for Turn 3 Autosport in Indy Pro 2000. That was exciting to see. And 12 confirmations already in Indy Lights with a potential for 13, 14 still with that program. Again, coming off the hiatus of 2020. So rebuilding the, of course, excitement. Big part of that excitement for Indy Lights, and that's where I'll segue in here for today's show, is the return of Carlin Racing. They came to Indy Lights back in 2015 when we rolled out the Dallara IL-15 chassis. Had Ed Jones, had Max Chilton, a number of drivers running for Carlin over the years. Then they shelved that program to focus on IndyCar, but they're back here in 2021, and the driver is going to join me here. I'll bring him in here right now. A 21-year-old Alex Peroni, the Australian, going to be with Carlin this year. Alex, a pleasure to meet you, and welcome to the Road to Indy.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for having me, mate. It's good to be here.
So let's just start with this. Where are you right now? Are you down in Delray Beach? Are you in Florida?
Yeah, Delray in Florida. So getting used to the heat, getting used to, winter. Right? It's winter here, and it's 25, 28 every day. So
right, the rest of the country
for summer.
The rest of the country's frozen. It's like minus something up here in Canada. It was frozen in Texas, and there you are in Florida enjoying the weather.
Yeah, mate, at the beach, tennis. But yeah, I've seen in New York, it's snowing and
crazy.
I don't know, and I don't know how far that is. I need to get used to the whole country, but yeah, it's a bit weird.
That's the other thing too, right? It's the country's so big, man. You don't get used to that at all.
Yeah, it's different.
It's 2 degrees where I am. That's Fahrenheit. That's not Celsius. That's Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, true. Oh god.
No, it's cold.
Ridiculous.
It's cold. All right, listen.
Wow.
We're going to jump into a lot here. Obviously, one of the things I love to do with these insiders is kind of introduce you guys to all of our race fans, right? Because we have a lot of fans around the country and around the world, of course, because this is the Road to Indy. We've put so many drivers up into the IndyCar program. We'll talk about your transition from FIA F3 over to Indy Lights, but let's just start with how you got into racing. What was it, a family thing? Is the Peroni family big time into racing down in Australia? How did you get started in karting?
Yeah, look, Dad was always passionate about motorsport.
Okay.
And he did a bit of karting and some tests in I don't know, what would it be now, a Formula V? Don't know if you heard of that, a Formula 4 type thing.
I've raced a Formula V before, yeah.
There we go, yeah. Pretty sick. No wings, no downforce.
No nothing, no horsepower.
Just mechanical grip, yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, he had to go with that. And yeah, I guess I got it through him, because he was just, crazy, and he was watching F1 every day and Group B rally as well he was into. And
okay. I
remember I would just sit down and watch it with him in the afternoon or at nighttime. And I guess that's where I got my passion for it.
Yeah.
Seeing people like Michael Schumacher, as I said to you before, Will Power, even watching IndyCar.
Yeah.
And yeah, so from there I just really wanted to start driving, and Dad was worried about getting into it because he knew, what it could end up like.
How deep the rabbit hole goes.
yeah, he knew. So, and I guess he was worried also that, I wasn't going to like it. And just to start karting, you have to put a lot of money into it.
You do.
So he was worried that, look, I'm going to spend all this money and then he's just going to get rid of it after a race. So, but yeah, and then since then I've just been non-stop racing.
Right?
Basically.
You've been going for a while. So, okay, so you get into karting. Obviously, Australian karting it's big down there. It's such a fantastic sport. Motorsport's on its own, but there's a lot of great karting down there. But you didn't just stay there, which is, I think, interesting. You actually went to Europe. So we'll talk a lot about from 2015 to 2019 and 2020, what you did in Formula Car racing. But you went to the top levels of international karting in Europe as well, running in the WSK series. Talk a little bit about your time running in Europe.
Yeah, so for us, it was always pretty difficult because we're from Tasmania, which is like a little island off the mainland. So, I mean, Tassie has a really small population, only a handful of tracks. So, you know, we got the hang of that pretty quickly, and we always wanted to compete against the best, and the best was in the mainland. Mm-hmm. So we had to, you know, work out a way of flying in, flying out, or going over and leaving. What we ended up doing is leaving a van there with a go-kart in.
Seriously?
We'd fly in. Yeah, fly in. Leave it at airport parking, jump in and just drive to wherever the race was. So we did that. We did that for a few years. You know, it was hard. It was hard on Dad, obviously. Hard on, well, not hard on me because I was just loving it. You know,
you were loving life. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, missing out on days of work for Dad and not being able to test at the tracks was obviously hard as well.
Yeah.
But then, so my heritage is Italian through Dad, and we would always go to holiday in Italy every second year to see his side of the family. And one year we just ended up doing karting. I mean, I can't even really remember how it came about. Dad just kind of organised. I just went along for the ride. And it went really well. You know, I did WSK with like super powerful engines that I wasn't used to, and did well. And the team wanted me back. And then we just went back every year after that doing WSK.
Were you was that junior at that point? Or were you into senior, or was that junior?
So I first went to Italy at 9, which was like, I think it was 60 mini at the time. It's a bit nostalgic. And then did 60 and then went to KFJ just before moving out to F4.
So just to satisfy my karting interest, because even though we're talking road to Indy and, you know, I love my karting. What team were you with? What chassis were you on?
My first team was this small Italian team called CIK.
Okay.
And it was a one kart team. And like this was like ridiculous for me at the time because I'm used to, you know, me and Dad working out the back of a van.
Yeah.
And we go over there and I've got my own mechanic and, you know, a guy that does the setup and like a 10. We're all like, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
I love it.
But yeah, so I did that. And then I went to Energy for a couple races in KFJ. Or it was KF3 maybe even at the time. And that was it. And like we got offered a full year of karting, including Las Vegas, as we were talking about before. But I mean, the budget of karting compared to F4 just doesn't make any sense to do karting anymore. So we went to F4. So
you went to F4 and you ran Italian F4, right? Let's talk about that transition into it. You did F4, then you did, I think, Formula Renault.
Yeah.
What bunch of years of Formula Renault? What was your first year like running F4? The first time you were in the race car?
Crazy. I remember my forearms were just gone, my neck was gone, and it was just this little track in Italy. And how it came about actually was through karting. So at karting, a driver manager gave me his card and said, look, if you ever think you're going further, give me a call. Yeah. And like my ambition obviously was always to go further, be professional, you know, F1 or IndyCar, things like that. But you don't know the process when you're that young. And I was just kind of along for the ride a bit and it just kind of happened. And, you know, I was doing an F4 test and I did well and the team kind of gave me a good deal and I did that year, but it was just, crazy. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, just enjoying it and just trying to learn as much as possible. You know, it was a pretty tough year. Got away with a couple podiums, but it was a huge learning experience, which is the main thing at that early.
That's huge, exactly it. But so then you moved to like the regional Formula Renault series, and then eventually into the Formula Renault Super Cup. How much of a step up was that, jumping in from F4 and then eventually getting to the top levels of the Eurocup program?
Crazy, because I've always used to racing in Italy or spending time in Italy. You know, the F4 was the Italian Championship, so never go outside Italy. And then to be all of a sudden racing on tracks like Barcelona and Spa and Hockenheim, you know, these big F1 tracks, it was just ridiculous. And with international teams and international drivers, it was just, it got real quick.
It got real quick.
And it's such a competitive series as well, Eurocup. I mean, the drivers that half the drivers that in F1 have been through Renault series. Yeah. And, but it was awesome breeding ground and learning ground to take skills forward in my career.
And you did have some success as well. You had a couple of wins here, some podiums, some consistency. You were able to get some success even so early in your career.
Yeah. Like, you know, at the time, you know, you always want more and you always think you can do better.
Of course. Yeah.
But like every driver would probably say. But looking back to get the wins at Monaco and Po and some podiums was cool. And it put me in good stead. And I guess people looked out, for me and saw that I had some potential, which is the main thing, because, you can do as well as you want, but the main thing is getting the budget for the next year.
That's 100% it. Yeah.
You need to open people's eyes and create some enthusiasm. So I guess I was lucky that I was able to win at places like Monaco and create a bit of I don't know,
buzz or whatever it is, right? Yeah, the buzz.
Yeah, people,
You were obviously rated highly, because then you end up hooking up with Campos to move to F3. That's obviously you're 2 steps away from Formula One at that point. F3. Campos, not really one of the top teams at that, at that time. Even now, you were the only guy to score points. But in 2019, let's then talk about it, because you had a pretty bad accident at Monza. You end up breaking a vertebrae in your back. The one thing drivers obviously are worried about, but a big wreck. But tell me about, because then you come back for 2020. And this is something, when you look at like the timeline of a young man or a young woman in motorsports, you're going to have hurdles, right? You're going to come up against maybe a bad weekend, whatever it may be. But you get sidelined for the year with a broken back. Talk about a little bit about that, the recovery, how tough it was to first get back where you needed to be physically.
Yeah, it sucked. Like, I remember, and that was my first big crash and the first time I've ever injured myself driving. So it was just full new experience for me in every way. And, it was hard physically, obviously. I was in a brace for 3 months, not being able to do any exercise. I think I lost 5 kilos, a couple centimeters as well. And, it wasn't good. But the hardest bit was just the mental side, and that year wasn't going well at all. And I was just waiting for Macau, because I thought, okay, Macau is a track where I can, kind of try and make the difference and get a good result in order to, progress to next year.
Yeah.
And obviously I had the accident. I couldn't do it. So that was really bad, and dealing with maybe my career could be over. What a bad way to end the career.
Yeah, that's playing in your mind during the recovery, right? Is it? Am I done? Is this? Am I over?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So dealing with that side was tough, but I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cliche as hell, but yeah, it made me stronger. And I was at the bottom, but I felt like it made me a stronger person and really helped me driving. And my hunger was just doubled after that, and I really wanted to come back next year and prove what I didn't do in 2019 and really come back stronger. Yeah. And
isn't that interesting? Because you went one way and you could have went the other way, right? You could have said, okay, I'm done. My career's over. I'm not doubling down. But instead you did that. You said you come back with even more hunger to succeed. You go back again with Campos for another year. And this season was solid. 10th overall in the championship, scoring points. Tell me about when you got back in the car for the first time. How much of a release was that? How much was it vindication for all the hard work you put in to get back?
Yeah, it was amazing. And I didn't feel like I completed my recovery until I had that first test and that first drive. And I was like, all right, now I can start going and just, turn the chapter, turn the page. So yeah, that was cool. And coming back to Monza was a bit crazy, a bit scary as well. I remember doing the track walk and coming to Parabolica, last corner where I had this shunt, and being like, God, I flew that far. Like, it's a bit mental. But as I said, obviously I wish I didn't have it, but I've definitely grown as a person and a driver from it.
Okay, so let's talk about the pivot right now. This is the big thing, obviously, right? You're on that focus, essentially coming up through Formula Renault, Eurocup into F3. F1's the kind. It's the goal, right? For so many young drivers, F1's the goal. You talked about the fact that you used to watch Will Power at IndyCar, so in the back of your mind, IndyCar is still a pretty badass thing that you can do.
For sure.
Where did it happen between the end of last season and your announcement with Carlin, where you went, you know what? Maybe I'm going to look to America. Maybe I'm going to look to the road to Indy, because, maybe IndyCar is my future.
It was just perfect timing, like a perfect storm, honestly. I had a decent year in F3, got some good results. Was in talks with Carlin for an F2 seat with Trevor.
Okay.
And it was going well, but yeah, the budget for F2 is just astronomical. So we couldn't quite make it in time. But Trevor was like, well, look, if you can't do this, do this. I mean, we're thinking of coming back to Indy Lights, you know, we want to come back in a big way. Think about it. And all of our supporters and I was just super keen on doing it, going to America. Yeah, all my supporters were really keen on it.
Nice.
It looked like a awesome series, an awesome pathway for me. As I said, always loved IndyCar. And so I was like, yeah, let's go for it. And Carlin were really keen on it. And now it's just kind of all starting to come together. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Tell me a little bit about, you talked about Macau a little bit. I didn't look. Do you have experience at Macau on the street circuit there? Have you been there before?
Nah, I never drove there. Which
have you ever driven a street circuit then?
Yeah, Monaco. Drove at Monaco.
Yeah.
Drove at Pau in France.
Pau's a street circuit, that's right. So you had success at both of those tracks.
Yeah, so managed to win in Pau and in Monaco, which is pretty cool.
Interesting, because I'm thinking about a driver that's come over before to Indy Lights who had success at Pau, at Macau, like a Felix Rosenquist.
Yeah.
And so you remind me, kind of when I'm looking at what you've done, are you excited about St. Petersburg and potentially Toronto?
Yeah, really excited. And I haven't been in the street circuit since Monaco. F3 didn't go anywhere, so I've been missing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really keen for, like even Detroit looks mad. Like, it looks crazy.
Detroit's going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, going to be fun. St. Pete looks cool. So, but to be fair, like the level of tracks in America in general is just awesome. And it's so much like what drivers want in Europe is what you guys have in America. Like, I mean, every driver's briefing every day, the main point is bloody track limits.
Yeah.
Track limits. Just and every driver is just like, just put grass there. Like,
please
put grass there, please.
Yeah.
So I'm really stoked to come back to more raw tracks and tracks that if you make a mistake, you know, you're punished.
Exactly.
So no, I'm really keen to get started.
So let's look right now at the off season. You're obviously with Carla right now. I know the picture I used for the promo was you getting the seat fit down at the shop at Delray Beach. Have you been in the car yet? Have you done any testing yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just done the seat fit. As you can tell, I was pretty happy just to sit in it.
You had a big smile. Yeah.
But yeah, some testing coming soon.
Okay.
Obviously, there's the spring testing, Barber, which I'm super keen for. But yeah, it's a whole new world to get used to, and the car's different, turbo, as I said, the tracks, and yeah, I've got a lot to learn. So, you know, setting expectations low and just focusing on getting up to speed as quick as possible.
Yeah, listen, you're following the footsteps of a lot of guys who have come in late into a program to a certain extent and done really well. Felix, of course, being one of them. Toby Sowery, of course, came over as well a couple of years ago with Team Pelfrey and was great out of the gate. So I'm sure you'll be able to settle in nicely. Overall, if you look at the schedule, all the different tracks we're talking about, you mentioned Detroit already. I asked about St. Pete. Is there one particular track that you're looking forward to that you really want to try? You're looking forward to getting to?
I'd probably say Barber. If I'm honest, like, yeah, like I've done some laps in the sim, and that just looks like, I don't know, like a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster.
It's crazy. So Barber's one, Laguna Seca. That would be cool. And yeah, definitely like Detroit or Toronto looks very, very hard. You know, looks low grip as well.
Yeah.
So which is a huge challenge. So yeah, probably those ones mainly. And even an oval as well. Like I've had no experience. So it's a Maryland. Is it?
We're going to
technology.
It's called
Worldwide
Technology Raceway Gateway.
Okay,
That'll be interesting for sure.
Gateway. All right, I'll remember that. But yeah, no, that's gonna be interesting. Nothing I've ever done before. So it's gonna be cool.
Listen, I'll tell you this though. You go back to what Carlin's been able to do when they were here with Max Chilton won at Iowa. So. They've got the chops to be fast on the oval, so you could have a pretty good race car when you get there.
Yeah, they almost won the 3-100. What was that? The closest finish in history or something?
That's exact. You know, I don't think Trevor wants to talk about that though.
Nah. Colin, the manager here, hates talking about it. But
hopefully we'll get the Freedom 100 back again. It's obviously not happening again this year.
Yeah.
Let's wrap things up. We talked about tracks you're looking forward to. Are you enjoying yourself in America so far?
Yeah, loving it. It's like totally different to anything I've experienced before. But no, the food's cool. The people are really nice. The weather's good here anyway.
That's exactly.
And yeah, obviously it's a shame with COVID.
Yeah.
I can't really experience the culture here or, what people are like. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's fixed soon, but who knows? But I still get a taste, and I'm still loving it.
Well, the bottom line is you're going to be here with us now on the road to Indy, so you're going to get a chance to feel what it's like to be out on the traveling circus that is IndyCar, as opposed to being part of the F3 program and the FIA program. It's a bit different. It's got a little different feel, for sure. As you said, the paddocks are wide open, and the tracks, of course, a lot different than you said. We don't talk track limits a lot. We did when we were at COTA, not surprising. Formula One track.
Yeah.
But you're not going to do it at Road America. You're not doing it at Mid-Ohio. All these tracks we go to. A little, like you said, there's grass where you're not supposed to be. So that's a good thing.
It's what we want as drivers. We want to see that limit because, you give us an inch and we take a mile. So even got the American,
You're working on it?
Yeah.
Hey,
American sayings and miles and stuff. So that's what I'm going to get used to.
I'm Canadian too, so you can talk about kilometers and I understand it in Celsius, but I still work in Fahrenheit and miles as well anyway. So.
Okay.
Hey, listen, here's one question for you. Jim Locke is asking, he says, is this your first trip here then?
Yeah, it is, Jim. Yeah.
First trip to the US?
First time ever. And yeah, it's cool. It's what you expect, really. There hasn't been too many surprises. I mean, the animals around here are pretty crazy around Florida. There's massive iguanas and I don't know around.
Hold on. Australia and Tasmania is a little different as well. Let's be real, animal-wise.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess to be fair, in Tassie you have to kind of go out of where you live to find it, unless you're kind of near the bush. You might get a snake or big spiders. But here, just outside the front door, there's
everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, listen, hey, Alex, thank you so much for joining us, man. I look forward to meeting you when we get down to spring training at Barber. But, man, I hope testing gets going for you pretty soon. We're thrilled to have you, and we look forward to seeing you in Indy Lights this year.
Cheers for having me. Have a good one.
All right, there he is, folks. Let me get rid of him, drop him in the back here. There you go. What a great individual to have, what a fantastic character and a personality to have in the Indy Lights paddock this year. Alex Peroni will run with Carlin Racing as a rookie in Indy Lights. You look at what he's done coming up through the ranks, and not always with top teams either, but still showing it incredibly well. 10th last year in the FIA F3 Championship with Campos Racing. I think he's going to be very, very impressive. And, of course, as we know, Carla can win races. They can win championships. They've done it here before with Ed Jones in Indy Lights. So he could be lined up and ready to go. Otherwise, folks, thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the Road to Indy Insider Live. Another great show. Can't say who it is because the announcement's coming, but they're going to be with me on Thursday, and just lined up that I'll have James Rowe from Turn 3 Autosport and Indy Pro 2000. He's going to join me next Monday. Enjoy this Monday, folks. Have a great day. I'm Rob Howden. Book it.